Hello. Hello. If you are listening to this audio right now, it's because I am still sick. And my plan is that I'm going to go over this slideshow right now, and then the rest of class, I will have a Zoom link that you can join so that you can ask me any questions, kind of an office hours style deal. Okay. So what you should be working on today is your essay once I talk about incorporating the quote and writing your story. First off, remember our essential questions. What do other people's stories teach us about ourselves? How have you developed as a person within your society? You're really going to be thinking about both of these questions and essentially answering this in your narrative. Your first step for this narrative essay is to pick a quote. Choose a quote from any text we have read in class that has taught you something about yourself. Pick a quote you haven't written about before, and you could look through any of our poems, short stories, and even Great Expectations. Aim for a quote that is about 2 to 3 lines long. So some quote that really resonates with you, that made you think about you, yourself, and your place in society as well. And it doesn't have to be something super exact. For example, I'm thinking about a litany, right? Hopefully, none of you have gone through what Gregory Orr did in a litany, but the feelings of guilt, the feelings of shame, a coming of age story, having to grow up really quickly because of some event, those are things you may have experienced before. And that's an example of how you can use a text or you can use a quote from a text in order to be able to connect that with your own life. Okay. Your quote is your first sentence. This is exactly how you should begin your paper. I'm using the Sylvia Plath metaphors as an example. Sylvia Plath writes, "This loaf's big with its yeasty rising. Money's new minted in this fat purse. I'm a means, a stage, a cow and calf." That's your first sentence. Second, third, fourth sentence, show off your analytical skills. Basically, it's a quote sandwich without a topic sentence. Or context. Okay, you're going to analyze the quote, point out any figurative language, and how this brings meaning to the quote overall. This is your first paragraph. Okay. Then you launch into your story. How does this quote resonate with you? What did it teach you? Okay. The first sentence of your second paragraph, you could go ahead and use one of these bridge sentences. This quote is important to me because, this quote resonates with me because, this quote has taught me. Okay, pick one or some sort of version of one of these. It doesn't have to be exact, but this is a way to basically launch yourself into your story. Okay, it's your bridge sentence. Then get into your story. A story or anecdote that is about 3/4 to a page long. Use storytelling moves, which includes dialogue, imagery, sensory language. The whole idea is show, not tell. Like, just tell the story. What's happening? Where were you? What was going on? Who are you with? Right? Being able to kind of tell that story of what's going on, and then you're going to reflect on it later, so you don't have to explain its importance yet. Okay, so focus on the story. Okay, when you do this, right? The basics, set the scene, who, what, when, where. Okay, you don't have to do this all at one time, like a question, a sentence for each, but it needs to be interwoven into your narrative so that you make everything clear for your reader. Choose the details that are most important to your narrative. Keep your end goal in mind, which is answering the essential question in your reflection. Okay, so example. My first paragraph, Sylvia Plath writes, and I quote, okay? And then I spend the rest of the time with analysis, okay? So, I don't know, like 3 to 4 sentences with analysis or something like that, okay? End my paragraph. Second paragraph, This quote resonates with me because when I was pregnant, I questioned my self-worth in relation to my baby. When I was 8 months pregnant, and then I'm going to tell a specific story using dialogue and imagery. Okay. That's it. Okay. So basically that's what your task is to do now for the rest of class is to find your quote, do your analysis, start your story.